country's ever seen, right? So the health care battle is back now. Front and center this week, Republicans expected a vote on a repeal Wednesday. And now some Democrats say they are willing to give on certain aspects of the law. And there's this poll out of Rasmussen. If you add up the first three numbers, screen left, 75% want changes, some sort of changes in the bill. Congressman Steve King's out of Iowa, Republican on the Committee on Small Business and Healthcare Subcommittee. And, sir, good morning to you. Good morning, Bill. Where do you think some Democrats would be willing to budge? Which areas?
Well, I think the one would be the 1099, the squeal form component of that. That's an onerous load on small business. That was put in to generate about $17 billion in revenue. They would budge on that because it's completely unpopular. Some of the balance of this, I don't know. But for me, I'm not interested in nor willing to start discussions on compromise on repeal of Obamacare. It's all got to come out. We have to take it all out, pull it out by the roots, lock, stock, and barrel. If not, some of that will grow back on us. So it's real clear the American people want to be rid of Obamacare. If they have components that they can make the argument back to the American people, again, having lost this last November 2nd, so let's hear that in the aftermath.
You want to chuck it all, then? Just get rid of it?
It's all got to go. Pull it all out by the roots. Otherwise, it'll grow back on us. It's a malignant tumor that threatens to metastasize on us, Bill.
It appears that Republicans are in lockstep on that position. We'll see, actually, when the final vote happens. How many Democrats will vote that way in favor with Republicans?
That is a very good question. I'm confident there will be some. If I had to put a number on it, I'd give an over-under number of about 15 right now, and I hope that it'll grow from that. But let's see what happens. I know that there are a good number of them that wish they had been more strident against Obamacare. They're sitting home today when they'd like to be in the United States Congress helping us solve the nation's problems.
Well, I just showed you this poll from Rasmussen. There's another one out there today. Associated Press is reporting on this. And it shows only 1 in 4 in their survey favor repealing the health care law. And that goes to a very specific question about what's happening in Washington now and what's happening in the country. Do you still sense a momentum from the election, or has some of that momentum fizzled?
Well, it would have been probably easier to have this vote in the 10th of November or so, but there's a tremendous amount of momentum here. We're just getting to know the 87 new freshman Republicans, and I've yet to meet one of the 9 freshman Democrats. But that energy is there. They made their commitment to repeal all of Obamacare. I don't know any freshman that ran on a nuance of, I'm going to try to make a deal with Democrats to try to save some part of this. So I think the energy is there, the commitment's there, and once this vote goes up on Wednesday and the House repeals Obamacare, sends that large hot potato over to sit in Harry Reid's lap, then we can march down the path of unfunding Obamacare in our appropriations bills. If you can vote to repeal it, you can vote to unfund and stop the implementation of it.
You said that, and that is critical. How much influence do you really think you have over the Senate?
I think that public opinion will have a lot of influence over the Senate. And Harry Reid can sit there and tell you it's not coming up. He won't allow it to come up. There's been some times that he didn't keep his word on those things.
I'm sorry to interrupt you, but it may come up depending on the outcome of the vote. You know, if you were to get 15-plus Democrats, which honestly doesn't sound like a whole lot of people, and all the Republicans, maybe then you start to throw some momentum that way. Otherwise, you come up short, don't you?
Well, there's another look at this, too, and that's, I believe, the number's 23 Democrats that are up for re-election in the Senate in 2012. I already know that some of them have lost their conviction. They just don't want to have to vote on a repeal bill. So if there can be a forced vote in the Senate, those who are concerned about re-election that are Democrats, I think the votes will be there to repeal it in the Senate. I'm one of a few that's predicted it. Karl Rove would be another. But that pressure needs to be there. And still, the House can shut off funding so that Obamacare is not implemented or enforced all the way through 2011 and 12. And January 20th of 2013, we'll have, I believe, a new president who runs on the agenda of signing the repeal. I hope he does it right at the podium when he swears in.
In the near term, you're on record. We'll see what happens. Is Wednesday the vote? Will it happen then?
The vote is scheduled Wednesday, and I've been working on this, introduced the bill for a long time ago, so I'm looking forward to Wednesday, Bill.
Steve King out of Iowa. We will watch it up until then and beyond.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. 18 past, Martha.
Yeah, well, this past weekend, this is a horrible story. 2 very popular ski resorts shocked by deadly accidents over the weekend. One of the victims was a 16-year-old boy who was wearing a helmet. Dr. Manny's going to join us on what you need to know about these incidences and how to stay safe on the slopes.
Also, the naysayers are saying, don't you dare. If you vote against raising the country's debt ceiling, you put America at risk of running off a cliff. Now the argument is say